We are live. Hello. Hi. Welcome to the Zero Channel, the adult side of KRAZTV.com, a thirsty land, the making of an American water crisis by Seamus McGraw. Seamus McGraw is author of The End of the Country, Dispatches from the Frack Zone, Betting the Farm on a Drought. He lives in northeastern Pennsylvania. We got this book at the Tucson, Pima County Public Library here in Tucson. I read every word of this one. I mean, tell you, it took a while just because I wanted to get every detail. It is exclusively about the water situation in Texas. Of course, the early in the 60s, they wanted to bring water over from the Mississippi and then put it in the upper basins up by Pecos and the Colorado that runs down into the Rio Grande and all. Of course, they never did that. There's the huge aquifers called the Aglala aquifer in that area, and then there's the Edwards over towards Austin and that in the middle of the thing. Their problem is that they've just exploded with population, and Metro Dallas, Fort Worth area has really exploded over the years. But they have 16 large districts that control it, and they each have their own little setup of rules. And they also have the first right of capture, and the one with the largest pump gets to pump the most. And if you own it, you better use it. And so, it's really a dry desert. Places over near El Paso is some of the driest parts in there. And yet down in the middle towards eastern but lower Texas and down towards Corpus and all that, there's a lot of rice farms. And people are, what the heck is rice being grown in a desert? But they got to pump the water, I guess. I don't know. They're really wanting to use some desalination problems. And then, of course, Dow Chemical is a huge a user in the state and all that. And they have a huge petroleum industry. Then, of course, fracking. They got to pump the water down in there to break the stuff up. So, then they try to push it back in the ground to recharge it, and then they say that causes earthquakes. So, poor old Texas, they've got a lot to do. Now, this guy, he said he was in his acknowledgments, he was saying that they asked for a questionnaire. So he said at the Texas Book Festival in Austin, it said, do you identify as white, African American, Asian, Native American, Pacific Islander? The second is, and I don't know why they would ever do this, but back then, or it said it struck him as chauvinistic. Do you identify as gay, straight, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender? And then he said the third question was, do you identify as Texan? So he goes on and on about the acknowledgments and all this, but he says, however, I would want to urge them to modify their questionnaire instead of allowing a binary yes or no option for the question. Do you identify as a Texan? There ought to be a third choice. Shouldn't we all? Well, it is extraordinary, and someday I'd like to meet Seamus McGraw. He's a grand and great writer, and it looks like he's really concerned about Texas. And I've been to Texas, and hey, I live here in Arizona. We have our own water and the Central Arizona Project and all. So thanks for watching. If you can, support us over at KRAZ TV and keep reading about the water that we'll all need soon. A Thirsty Land, the making of an American water crisis by Seamus McGraw. Thank you and keep watching. Zero Channel.